All right, welcome back to Musicians Edition. Today in Essential Elements, we're going to look at number 62, Camptown Races. And in this video, we're going to do the snare part as well as the woodblock part. Okay, so if we look at the snare drum part first, we have some flams, we have some quarter notes, we have some eighth notes. Pretty straightforward until you get to the very end where you see a buzz stroke, right? Remember the buzz stroke notation is quarter note or whatever note with a Z drawn through the note stem, okay? So we see there in the last measure there's a quarter note with a buzz on it, and then two eighth notes coming right out of that buzz, and then a quarter note on beat 3, right? So what we're going to want to do is play two strokes in the space of that buzz, right? So we're going to think 1 and then 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, now sometimes you'll want to roll faster than that, slower than that, different rhythms and stuff. For today, just to keep it simple, we're just going to think 1 and on that buzz, okay? Let's try that measure a couple times. So we're thinking buzz, buzz, 2 and 3. Ready, go. Again. Ready, and. One more time. Ready, and go. Alright? So now, backing up, we see we have a lot of repetition in this piece, right? We have flam, quarter note, flam, eighth note, quarter notes, right? So flam, 2, flam, and 4, right? We have that several times throughout this piece, so let's try that measure a couple times. This is measure 1, right? But it's also measure 2, and it's also measure 5, and measure 6, and measure 7, right? So if we practice this measure a few times, we'll already have several of these measures ready to go, okay? So let's look at measure 1. So we're thinking flam, right? Remember, little note with the weak hand, big note with the strong hand, right? Left hand down, right hand up for me, right? Okay, and then the second note is just a single stroke. I'm going to play that on my left hand. Okay, so I'm playing flam, left. Right, one more time, flam, left. Okay, and then you see the sticking written in is right hand flam, on the eighth note is right hand flam, and then another right, and then that would lead you to your left hand, right? So we're thinking flam, right, left. So 3 and 4. So what we want to try to do is get the right hand to sound the same on both of those eighth notes, right? 3 and then just put a flam on the first one. Okay, and then play the last one with your left. So flam, right, left. Okay, so now if we put the whole measure together, we get right hand flam, left hand quarter note, flam, right, left. Okay, we do it again for measure 2, right, and then 2 flams in measure 3, 2 flams in measure 4. All right, now when we have consecutive flams, such as measure 3 and measure 4, there's a couple of options that we can use in terms of the sticking that we play that with, right? We can either do 2 hands in a row, right, 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 or we can do left, left, right? Or we can alternate. Okay? The way you make that decision is just based on what's most comfortable for you, and also what you hear, right? What sounds better to your ear. For some people, the alternative flams work better. Some people, consecutive flams work better. Some people are more comfortable playing flams with their right. Some people are more comfortable playing flams with their left, right? So you kind of have to choose what's going to sound best for you, or what is more comfortable for you, okay? For me today, I'm going to play these as right, because I'm right-handed. My right-hand flams in a row are more consistent than my right, left, right? That's not to say I'm not working to make my alternative flams just as consistent as my consecutive flams, because ideally we'd be able to do both with a high level of accuracy, but in a performance situation, you want to choose the one that sounds best, okay? So if we look at the beginning here, we can play the whole first line, right? Using that measure we just did, plus the 2 consecutive flams coming up in measure 3 and 4, okay? Starting at the beginning, 2, 3, and. Okay? Now if we look at the next line, we have that same measure again. We're going to use the same sticking that we did at the beginning. flam, left, flam, right, left. And we're going to do that 3 times in a row. Right? And then the only thing left in that line is that buzz, buzz, 2, and 3 that we did a little bit ago. Okay? So let's try the second line of this piece. 1, 2, ready, and... Okay? And now you see there's a rest on beat 4, and then a repeat sign, which sends us all the way back to the beginning. So when it's time to play this piece all the way through, we're going to play it 2 times, top to bottom, 2 times in a row. Sound good? All right, let's try it. And 1, 2, ready, go. Repeat. Okay, so that's the snare drum part. The tricky thing about that one is getting the flams to be really consistent and to all sound the same. And to also try to get that buzz stroke to really lengthen out and turn into one long note. Okay? So a couple things to work on there. All right, let's fast forward to the woodblock part, which we have not addressed yet in these videos. So if you look at the bottom, you see WD period and then BLK period. So that's an abbreviation for woodblock. So what I'm going to do is trade out my sticks for a woodblock and a towel. Remember, we always want to have a towel down when we have something that we have to put on a surface, right? Now you see this is just literally like it says, a block of wood, right? It's a very, very nice block of wood, but it's just a hunk of wood, so you can't miss it, right? Wood block means block of wood. Easy to find, okay? Now you notice every wood block has a mouth, right? An opening. That is where the sound comes out, right? So you want to think, or where most of the sound comes out, right? So you want to think about what direction you point this mouth, right? Because most of the sound is going to be sent in that direction. You're going to be able to hear it from anywhere, but that's a general rule you want to think about when you place your woodblock, right? So if I'm playing woodblock, I don't really want to point the mouth at me because then all the sound is coming straight at my face. I don't really like that so much, but what I do like is if I can point the woodblock away from me towards the audience, okay? Now you want to pick a kind of soft mallet. You can also use a stick on the edge. The only drawback to using a stick is a stick will dent this, right? And since this is a particularly nice woodblock that a friend of mine made for me, I'm going to use a really soft mallet because I don't want to make any dents, okay? But even a fairly soft mallet, these are about the same mallets we've been using for suspended cymbal on this channel. Even a pretty soft mallet will get you a nice sound on a woodblock, okay? So what I'm going to do is just take my mallet. I'm just going to lightly hit the woodblock, kind of close to the mouth on the top. Okay? So now the nice thing about a woodblock is that if you position it in this way, it's basically just like playing a snare drum, right? So I can use one mallet, I can use 2 mallets, right? So depending on what part I'm trying to play, I'll either use just one hand or 2, but it's nice to have the option of 2 if you need it. Okay, so if we look here at this piece, it's going to be the second line, right? The second staff. Bottom note of the second staff on here, right where it's labeled woodblock. Okay, so then you see the top line of the bottom staff is triangle, right where it says triangle, and the X notation. Woodblock is going to be just the regular old quarter notes, eighth notes notation, but down low. Okay, below snare drum, bass drum. All right, so if we look here, we've got quarter note, quarter note, quarter note, quarter note, quarter note, quarter note, 3 and 4. Okay, so let's play the first 2 measures here. 2. Ready, go. All right. I'm going to play that same thing with one hand. This is also an option. 2, ready, go. All right, either way is totally fine. And then you see we just have those 2 quarter notes, just like we just played on snare drum. Just with woodblock, we don't have to play flams, which is nice. Okay? Bottom line, same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3. Rest. Repeat back to the beginning. Okay? So let's start at the beginning. We'll play it all the way through. Take the repeat. All the way through again. Okay? Again, you're free to use one hand, both hands, either way. Like we were talking about with the stickings on the snare drum part, whatever is most comfortable for you is the right way to go here. Okay? Here we go at the beginning, all the way through the woodblock part. 1, 2, 3, and... Back to the beginning. Okay, so that's some snare drum stuff to practice. There's some woodblock stuff to practice. Lots of fun stuff here. So good luck, and I'll see you next time.